Now, within that range, buy however you want. Try to get as close to the lows as possible. Now, one way of looking at it would be, this is exactly out of Al's trading room. So look back and see where bears got trapped. Bears got trapped selling this bar. Okay, let me put this overlay on top, right? At this point, this was a sell below bar. They got trapped here. So if you're lucky and the market bails them out, you can use that bailout as buying pressure to enter in the new direction, which means limit order at the low of this bar, at the close of this bar. And so let me draw it because it makes it easier to. Okay, so let's say this is the drawing vertical lines is more difficult. Okay, so this is that low. So that's that bar. So some bears sold here. They did a sell the close entry. Some bears sold one tick below, so that was the stop order short. Now that the market has gone above these, subsequent bars, we had that bull bar that closed there. Sorry for the drawings. All right, anyway, so these guys are in trouble now. So pick one of these prices and look at the chart, look at the behavior of the chart, the energy of the price action. And at that point, you have to make a decision. How aggressive do you want to be with your entry? Okay. And there are different levels of aggressiveness for this kind of entry. One way is to say, these sell the close bears got trapped. Therefore, if this was the entry point, the close of that bar, I want to be buying just above it. So this would be your buy. So this would be limit long. And the logic of it is sell the close minus 2 ticks. Because they need the market to test the close for them to get out break even. And you're front running that because you think that, okay, it might not get there. I just want to get my long in the market. And I'm betting that there are going to be so much, bears trying to exit that if I put the limit order on the exact close of this bar, bear bar that they got trapped, I'm probably not going to get the fill. In other conditions, depending on, what's leading down to this, trap price, you might want to buy within this range. So a limit order maybe at somewhere around here, or you might want to buy at this low or below that low. So these are in the orders of aggressiveness. So it becomes more conservative as it goes down. And it is most aggressive here. So this is really aggressive up there. And that decision to take which one in this range is really dependent upon what's going on the left side of the chart leading up to this event that caused you to have an interest in going long, right?
So let's say I decided to be very conservative, and is it okay to change my opinion and just buy the market if the price is not coming down enough for me to fill the limit order at the conservative level?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you're trading the I don't care size. It's so small that it's like, okay, this is the first entry. I'm probably going to lose this contract. Like, think about it as a military general is thinking about the war, okay? So we want to win the war, but we know that we're going to have casualties. And those casualties are those soldiers that are hopping out of the helicopters as the first people who get boots on the ground in the battlefield. Because there's some guy on the other side in the pillbox just shooting everybody with a machine gun. So odds are the first people out of the helicopter is going to die. But should that stop the offensive? No, we just know that's going to happen. All right. So that is to justify your way of thinking, which is actually, I think it's quite correct. if the environment is changing, and this ties back to what I said at the beginning of our session, that you might be in an always in long environment even before the bear trend is over. Therefore, it's always in long based on context, which is what this bar is. At this area, it might already be always in long even before the trend has changed. That is one of the major enablers if you're a scalping counter trend, to be able to recognize it and make that decision. Okay, so if you buy here on this bar 35, you can buy at the market and you can scale in lower, knowing that your first soldiers are going to be KIAs. You're not going to see them anymore, but they might also get lucky, right? Because that sometimes happens. So the first soldier out of the helicopter is the guy who throws a grenade and blows up the pillbox. He doesn't die. All his comrades also tend to survive. So if you buy here, that's an example of that. So this is the first soldier out of the helicopter, and it not only survived, but survived in a good way. So it won the battle. But sometimes that guy might not survive. Like, for example, in here, if you buy here, so let's say, let me see if I can grab this and use it. So if I take this portion of this chart, okay, and use it in here. All right, so that's our chart. Can I make this bigger? Yep. All right, good. Okay, so now let's say we're buying, and despite the fact that down to bar 65, we have a bear micro channel, we want to buy. So the first buy is below the doji here, inside bar, and the next one is here, and the next one is maybe at the 4-point distance below the swing point. All right. Now, in this case, the market went far enough to bail out every entry, but let's say you don't even wait for this first one. So this first entry becomes killed in action. That soldier is lost, but you take a profit here, not waiting for this to even get filled. And that's okay.
Thank you.
Depends on your position sizing and the level of, aggressiveness for the trade. So let's say if this was +1 and this was +1 and this was +2, now your cost average between these two is here, and your cost average between these two is the middle of the prior cost average to the new entry. So the new cost average is here. So basically, you just buy and wait for the market to get back to the first cost average and exit there, and this guy becomes KIA, killed in action.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's one of the ways that you can be aggressive, but still in a logical way. Now, in this case, where is the stop? That's always the question. Like, if I do this kind of trading, where is my stop? I guess you have to look at the chart and define the immediate trading range that you see, and the measured move from that trading range is where the stop usually goes. From a academic price action point of view might not make sense, but from the market energy, it will make sense. For example, here we have range compression very late in this bear trend. So that means this big bear bar, bar 65, this bar, this is probably the range of that trading range. And it is how many grid lines? 1, 2, 3, 4. So going down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe one more, 5. So if I put my stop here, based on this trading range, and this is, by the way, the second one, because the first one was up there, okay? The market should not get to the second one, the stop based on the range of the second trading range, before it gives me a scalp. Therefore, it makes sense to put the stop here, just outside of the range of this big bear bar, and look for a move to support. Now, support can be the middle, right here, the middle of that trading range, or it could be the moving average. Market got to the moving average. But my point is, following the discussion that we had last time, that if you're only looking for 5 to 7 trades a day, okay, and you just want like 4 points in each one of these trades, so the entire points would be 20 to 28 points, and you're willing to have one loss, so the net would be, so one loss, so the net would be 16 to 24 points. This is enough to make 100% a year. Double your account.